I have the Apparatus Newsreel.
I'm Jack McCarthy, your newsreel narrator for issue 65. Our first story has to do with the big look in small panel instruments. This new attractive sales display kit we have here is, as most of you know, available in your district office to help you get the message across to your customers. The kit enables you to clearly demonstrate the new design in panel instruments. Note the truly distinctive appearance, the excellent readability, the big scale, big numerals. Yet this new design will fit into the same usable panel space as ordinary instruments. You're able to clearly point out the moving magnet assembly with this laminated markup. Milliammeters below 5 milliamperes and all microammeters utilize this core magnet movement. Both of these mechanisms are inherently self-shielded. This new moving magnet design eliminates the conventional zero set. The customary control springs are replaced by the control magnet. In the de-energized condition, the moving magnet with attached pointer aligns with the control magnet locating the pointer at zero. The core magnet movement has conventional control springs and requires a zero set, which is completely sealed with a neoprene O-ring. The self-shielding of all DC movements in these instruments allows them to be mounted on magnetic and non-magnetic panels without special calibration, cluster mounting bezel to bezel without interaction, and the effects of stray magnetic fields are minimized. Now, for those of you who are not receiving this picture in glorious color, I'd like to point out that the color area of the window comes in standard colors or in yellow, white, forest green, blue, oyster gray, and maroon. Our improved manufacturing techniques and facilities enable us to offer these new instruments at a new low price. See GEA 6678 for your pricing information. Now we'll move along to a story on the Regulator voltage van and its tour through the Southwest. And quite a tour it has been. Pittsfield's 10-ton sample kit, a mobile 15-seat theater geared to represent the last word in an effective sales presentation on voltage regulators, has covered better than 25,000 miles in the Southwestern District. The newsreel caught up with the van as it rolled into Okmulgee, Oklahoma. The van made its first stop at the offices of the East Central Oklahoma Electric Cooperative, Incorporated. This soft cell presentation has been given to more than 13 private utilities, 114 rural co-ops, and 55 municipal utilities with very excellent results. Reports from the Southwestern District leave no question as to the fact that the van was extremely impressive to the customers who saw it. At several locations, the van drew the voluntary comment that this was the finest display and presentation that has been presented in the field for some time. It is usually very difficult to attribute sales directly to a promotional effort, such as the voltage van. But district people can list several orders that have been influenced by this mobile display. An order for 5 units came from a former Zero customer who had been solicited for 2 years on regulators, and the Jesco man handling the order attributed the sale directly to the voltage van. The presentation setup for the van lasts for nearly 4 hours and features an educational, non-commercial series of scripts, complete with slides, film strips, and demonstrations. At all locations, the customer audience has indicated that the time had been well spent, and they felt they got something worthwhile and something they can use in their work. J.W. Whitfield, sales engineer, CID Sales out of Oklahoma City, brought the van into Okmulgee on this 100-degree day. But since the van is air-conditioned, the show could go on under reasonably comfortable conditions. Look for the voltage van when it comes rolling into your district. From September through March, the voltage van will be in the Central District, but the planned itinerary will take it all over the country. A truly effective sales aid to help you get across the story on voltage regulators. Be sure to use it. And now from Roanoke, we have a report on the 7400 line. The Industry Control Department announces the new 7400 line of AC reactor crane control for stepless speed control. Loads can now be moved faster, and they can be spotted more accurately. In addition, maintenance is reduced by use of static devices. Substantial savings can be made in installation costs, since there are no secondary contactors. There are two distinct types of controls which both use saturable reactors. The first is the IC7406 static reversing control, which provides precise stepless speed control from 0 to maximum speed in either hoist or lower direction. The design of the IC7406 eliminates all moving part devices, with the exception of the line and brake contactors. Secondly, we have the IC7403 regulated and the IC7402 non-regulated, which are contactor reversing controls providing outstanding operating features without the use of secondary contactors and accelerating relays. The IC7406 provides stepless control through the entire operating range, and its typical applications include machine shop cranes, steel mill roll changing cranes, and power plant cranes. Our newsreel camera filmed a demonstration of a 10,000-pound load on the test crane at Roanoke. An operator gets complete stepless control with the 7400 line. When the thumb latch is depressed, the motor and brake remain energized even though the master switch is returned to the off position. The excellent pinpoint spotting is clearly demonstrated by the precision with which this 10,000-pound load can gently crack an egg. The equipment is designed for easy maintenance and installation and is all front connected, eliminating the need for back aisle space. The 7400 line has undergone extensive testing in Schenectady. These tests have provided information on the line's complete speed torque, maximum torque at standstill, and sufficient motor heating data. The 7400 line now provides you with an excellent AC crane control, which you can add to your industry control list of fine products. Our next story has to do with the extra values of the Form G motor. In March 1952, we pioneered in a new concept in the design and manufacture of fractional horsepower motors. As salesmen, you found that your customers were interested in the Form G's smaller size, lighter weight, and longer life. Today, after 6 years, over 11 million Form G motors are in use, and they're field proven. You can't stand still in the motor business. And in 1955, GE motor leadership was challenged when our competition entered the field with motor designs bearing a marked resemblance to the Form G construction. However, only General Electric has a full line and an appreciable quantity of these modern design motors in successful field use. Well, with competition out with a comparable motor design, we find that the ball is back in our court, and it's been up to our engineers to come up with some new selling features. These extra values, when added to the former features, will give you a still more effective sales story. The new design changes have made a good motor better. I'll talk about the new changes in a minute, but remember that the standard features are still there. The rubber oil thrower, mylar insulation, the thrust washer, the wool felt wick, Formex insulated wire and neoprene insulated leads, and finally, the speed nut. And now for the extra values. One of the features is our new protective finish. The rust-resistant shaft and hardware stop corrosion and simplify maintenance. This means that fans, pulleys, and couplings can't rust on. The second feature I'll mention is a fast method to reverse rotation. Just interchange these two leads. Quick connectors make changeovers fast and positive. This means there's no need to order special motors to meet rotation requirements. Next, the unique sliding links on the terminal boards allow simple voltage changeovers. The Form G can be switched from 115 to 230 volt operation, or vice versa, in much less time, without confusion and error, using only a screwdriver. Just loosen 4 screws, slide the link to new position, and tighten the screws. Finally, operating data on the Form G is both legible and permanent, which assures ease of installation and service without guesswork. I've covered only 4 of the new extra value features, values which will keep the Form G out in front. And now, Hal Brunton, Manager, Network Transformer Sales, Distribution Transformer Department, has some news for those of you selling to utilities and municipals.
Thanks, Jack. There are 3 new things I'd like to talk to you about network transformers. Each of them is new, and each of the 3 things we think make our transformer much better than anything offered by competition. The 3 things are Evans core, panel radiators, and our paint finish. Take the Evans core. It looks simple, and it is. It's merely 2 wound cores with a 3rd one wound around the outside. Very simple. And yet, until Tom Evans, one of our design engineers back in Pittsfield, came up with this design, we had no way of building a 3-phase network transformer with a wound core. The wound core is far more efficient, and we think it's going to change everything as far as network transformer design is concerned. Panel radiators. Again, it looks very simple, but in this case, it took us a number of years before we achieved that simplicity. We studied tubular radiators, wing radiators, even corrugations, which you probably know that some of our competitors are now using. We've ended up and standardized on these panel radiators. They're the most efficient, they have the least openings into the tank, and also they are the smoothest surface that we can have, which makes them much easier to maintain in the field. Paint finish. At the present time, we are using a 5-coat finish. A base coat, 2 coats of meloprene, 2 finish coats, each individually baked on. There are 2 things about this paint finish that are quite new. First of all, you may recall that for several years we put some gunk on the bottom of a transformer. In several cases, this gunk separated from the transformer and actually acted like a boot, which collected water. In other words, it hurt the transformer rather than help it. We have instead put on this meloprene, which is a rubber-like paint, and in effect it puts a skin diver suit over the entire transformer rather than just on the bottom. We also are inserting this meloprene in between the other coats, which again makes for a much better finish. There you are, 3 items. And what does it mean to your customer? Well, it means just this. This is the result. You can actually see the difference between the 2 transformers, the 55 design and our new 1958 Vaultmaster design. The new one is smaller, it's lighter, it's more efficient, and it resists corrosion much more efficiently. That's the product. We think that we have given you a tremendous advantage over competition. However, the customer has to be convinced about this. That's where you come in. The rest of the job is yours.
Here's another story from Pittsfield, which will be of particular importance to those of you who handle transformers and circuit breakers. Most of you remember the bad old days before 1954, when there was such a multiplicity of bushings for this equipment with little or no standardization, resulting in a vast range of different sizes and types. And you all know what a headache that was. And then in 1954, the first ASA standards for bushings were adopted. Early in 1958, these standards were extended to include the range 23 kV to 196 kV. This helped a great deal, of course, reducing the former multitude to only 37 bushings. But We at General Electric never felt that this was enough, especially since the standards did not provide complete bushing interchangeability between transformers and breakers. A large number of our customers share this same opinion. So we've taken a careful look at our transformer and breaker designs and made some changes where necessary. Now we're ready to offer a line of bushings which are completely interchangeable between GE power transformers, medium transformers, and oil circuit breakers. They are known as TBI bushings. TBI meaning transformer breaker interchangeable. Just 8 bushings, one for each voltage class, cover the complete range now included in the ASA standards. The TBI line offers substantial advantages to everyone concerned with bushings. You'll have a lot fewer catalog numbers to contend with, and the ultimate savings which further standardization offers will be a selling plus. For the product departments, there are the obvious savings in fewer engineering designs and fewer parts to purchase or stock. And for your customers, there will be the opportunity to save on investment by drastically reducing bushing inventories. In fact, this program should save the utility industry upwards of $5 million in the next few years. And on top of all the other benefits, you'll also have a new product story to tell. Now, for the first time, the advantages of Type U construction have been extended into the 23 to 46 kV range at no increase in price. TBI bushings certainly represent important extra values for you to present to your customers. And that's it for issue 65.